Welcome back. Okay, example 3. We're going to use the sine and the cosine ratio to find side lengths. So, these are the steps. Number 1, label the sides with respect to the given angle. That's really important. It's all depending on which angle we are referencing. Okay? Identify which trig ratio to use, and then solve the problem. You're going to solve for the length or the angle, depending on the question. There's 2 question types. One's have angles, one have lengths. One asks you to solve for lengths, one asks you to solve for angles. Okay, so here's the question. No words. Well, use the appropriate ratio, sine or cosine, to calculate the length of the unknown side. So this is an unknown side. Absolutely, I don't know what it is. This is a side that I know, it's 15 centimeters, and this is called side A. Now, when a question say, find the length of the unknown side, and then they give you a side, like with a variable, that's what they mean. They shouldn't say calculate the length of the unknown side. They really should say indicated side. Now, they're indicating that they would like A. We don't know this side either, but they're not really indicating that we need to find that. So be careful of this. Sometimes textbooks aren't really good at explaining themselves. Okay, so what I would do is I would put in the 90 degree where it goes, and then I would start labeling my triangle. So in other words, that's your hypotenuse. There's no question about that. So that angle is theta, that's 57, and that means that this is opposite the referenced angle. So that's your opposite side to the reference angle. That makes this adjacent. So I want to find the indicated side length. That is opposite. I know hypotenuse, so I have to say to myself, which trig ratio uses opposite and hypotenuse? You're going to have to memorize this. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse, and the more times you write it, the better off you'll be. So sine theta equals opposite over hypotenuse. You need to remember that. So then we're going to plug it. That's a formula. You can put a box around it if you want. So we're going to plug in what we know. Sine of 57 equals opposite over 15. Now we have a nice little equation here. This is a number. Sine of 57 is its own thing. It is a decimal. Want to see what it is? 57 sine. That's the decimal. That is the ratio. We need to get A by itself. What's the 15 doing to the A? It's dividing. How do we get rid of division? The opposite is multiply. So we're going to multiply both sides by 15. So now all we have to do is this. Now it doesn't matter the order that we multiply things in. So I can do 57 sine and get this decimal first, then times 15, and I get my answer of A equals approximately 12.58 centimeters. And that's how you do the first one. I'm done. That's A. Cool. Let's look at the next one. So again, I go through the same steps. Here's my 90. How do I know? Because it looks like it. Okay, so sometimes you got to sort of think that. That's going to be my hypotenuse. This is going to, well, this is my reference angle. So this is adjacent. And this is opposite. I don't know my opposite. I know I want my adjacent. I know my hypotenuse, and I'm given the reference angle. So which trig ratio uses adjacent and hypotenuse? The answer is cosine. Cos theta equals adjacent divided by hypotenuse. That's a formula. Good idea to know it. So plugging in the numbers. This itself is one thing. This is a decimal. So I'm going to get rid of this 20. What's the 20 doing to the B? Division. The opposite is multiplying. So multiply both sides by 20. Using your calculator. And we get B equals approximately 7.8 meters. There you go. All right, the last one. Here's my 90. That's my hypotenuse. Here's my reference angle. This is the side opposite my reference angle. That's my adjacent. I want to find hypotenuse. That's the one they've indicated. So I'm going to use, which trig ratio uses opposite and hypotenuse? It's sine. So sine theta equals opposite over hypotenuse. So sine of 25 equals 9 over c. Our unknowns in the bottom this time. Now you and I have talked a couple of different ways of being able to handle this. One of them is to realize that sine of 25 is all over top of 1 and cross multiply. So the c comes up here. So it's going to be c times sine of 25 equals 1 times 9. And then it's c of sine of 25 equals 9. Divide both sides by sine of 25. These two will reduce out. And it's going to leave us with c equals 9 over sine of 25. Using your calculator, 9 divided by 25 sine equals, c equals approximately 21.3 feet. Now, this math is a little bit trickier than the other ones, but we have spent time in class this year learning how to deal with that. Here's another way to deal with that. Let's go back to what we had. So we had sine of 25 equals 9 over c. The other way that I taught you that we could think about this is remember fractions. If I have 2 over 3 equals 4 over 6, that means that I can flip both sides, and it can be 3 over 2 equals 6 over 4. So as long as I flip both sides, they stay equal. So this can become 1 over 20 sine of 25 equals c over 9. That makes it a little bit easier to think about. What's the 9 doing to the c? Division. So I multiply both sides by 9. That actually means top times top, bottom times bottom, 9 over sine of 25, and we get the same answer. And that's a perfectly good way to do it. Okay, kids, that's it for that page. I'm going to stop here and I'll do the last one.